This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, MVP proudly presents the soon-to-be podcasting tag team champions of the world, the infuriating Ricky Widmer and Moneyball Dave Oster, the Fast Break Podcast. Hey guys, how's it going? Ricky Widmer here, and I got some good news. Dave's back.
This is what happens when you don't show up to work, Sean.
Yeah, Sean not in town. It's just me and Dave today.
Got the old guard back in charge.
The old Fast Break duo going. The tag team champions of the world, some would say. And today we're going to be talking some pretty good topics here. We got Melo and the Knicks. Can he recruit the Bulls? Should they enter some tank mode? And then we're going to be talking about Golden State in the end and 73 wins and, you know, all that hibbity hoopla with that. But we're going to start in New York, Dave, and we always bring great topics to the table, and this is the namesake of the podcast because this is what Melo said this week, and I'll quote, "Put me at the head of the table and let's go to work."
Some bold words from Melo right there.
He wants to be the recruiter in New York, and I'll be honest, I don't think he can do it.
I don't know if he can. This is the man who wanted to be wined and dined last time around. He took every opportunity, spent every moment of free agency possible, you know, entertaining offers.
Went to Chicago, went to L.A., spent some time in New York where he was already
soaked
there.
It up. He soaked up. I think he enjoyed it so much. Now he wants to treat others this way. I don't know. I don't know if he's the guy who's gonna, bring people home.
That's what you want to say. Like, oh, I went through it, so, basically I did a little insider investigation, and now I know what they want to see.
He's the expert now. You're right.
That's what you say if you're Melo, but I don't think that's the case.
You don't think that's Melo?
I just think...
Do you think he could break DeAndre Jordan out of his house?
No.
He'd knock in that chair? No problem?
No. And with Melo, I agree with... I was watching The Jump on ESPN, Rachel Nichols, T-Mac, and I agree with Rachel Nichols. If Carmelo Anthony wants to help out the Knicks... He goes into Phil's office and goes, "Here's my no trade clause. Get me out of town."
Yeah.
Because that's the big thing, because his contract is huge. Donald Trump would say it's huge.
It's friggin' huge.
It's huge.
It's a friggin' huge contract.
Unlike my hands is what Donald Trump would say.
But I don't necessarily argue with that point, but I think that's the wrong message to send. I mean, Melo can't do that. That's like career suicide right there. So, no.
I think there's a team that would still trade for Melo, cough, cough, Boston. That would want
I'm not saying teams wouldn't want him. I'm saying his image would be turned into absolute piles of rotting shit. There's no coming back from that. I think his contract is so outrageous because he wanted it that way. So he gets what he deserves. He needs to now bring somebody in who's, I don't think they can even go for a max contract guy. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be another year.
So KD's out the window.
Unless they pull some really interesting moves, KD is not coming to New York. Mm-hmm. I mean, if KD even had a choice, he wouldn't go to New York, but that's beyond the point right now. I think they're really looking at that second tier of free agency, and that's what he's targeting. And you know what? Playing with Melo, I'm sorry, doesn't really interest me. This is a guy who couldn't get the job done on his own in Denver, couldn't get the job done on his own in New York. He doesn't make guys around him better. So what's his selling point?
I don't know. And the thing is, it's exactly, you are right. The thing with Melo is, when I think of him as a player, he wants the ball in his hands, and he's not the player who can have the ball in his hands. He's not like old Kobe. He's not like LeBron, where it's like, you know what, put the ball in my hands, and he'll put up points, but he's not going to win your team a championship.
Yeah, he doesn't have it, and it's because he doesn't have a complete all-around game. Mm-hmm. He's gotten much better on defense by actually trying and using that effort thing. Kind of crazy what happens when that doesn't, but it's the fact that he is a offensive force and he can score regardless. Defensively, mixed bag. I mean, if he tries, okay. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't, he's just out there. But no, I think the problem is this team really needs to go out and find themselves a point guard who can really control the flow of this offense.
So Rajon Rondo. That's your recruiting pitch is
I think that
Melo,
is the
go
one
get
way.
Us Rajon.
That is the one way this Knicks team succeeds. I think Rondo has, I don't want to say turned his career around because I feel like he hit a rough patch in Dallas and really has shown in Sacramento now that, let's be honest, that's a dysfunctional team. And he's going out there and putting up close to triple doubles pretty often. he's showing us the old Rajon from when he played with the big three in Boston and really just looking fantastic again. I think he would be a veteran personality in that locker room, and he would be able to stand up to Carmelo, who kind of throws the, I'm the star of this town, I get the ball all the time. I think Rondo could be like, no, we're going to run the triangle or whatever they're going to run next year. I mean, I'm not saying it's not the triangle. I feel like Phil's going to make him play the triangle.
I think it was you when we were out to dinner last night that said, what was it that Charles said about the triangle?
Oh, something along the lines of without Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, the triangle is a circle.
Yeah, it's a circle. And I mean, is that what Melo's going to do? He's going to go to the table and go, guys, the triangle's really going to work. I promise you it's going to work.
I think he has every intention of it working.
Guys, I'm trying now.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I think that's their absolute best bet. Go out, get Rondo. He becomes the point guard who brings that veteran into the locker room, and you can use him to control Carmelo and keep, Kristaps growing and see him, kind of hit that potential year 2. Year 1, it seems like he's kind of hitting his wall late in the season. We've seen, the best of him already, and he's not, playing full minutes yet. We're still watching Phil control that pretty well, which I'm happy with. I don't think you want to, give him the garbage minutes. You don't want him out there for like 35 a night yet. This is year 1. He's a skinny guy. He needs to bulk up. So I totally agree with Phil's, you did good this year. We're going to put on hopefully 10 pounds in the offseason, get him muscled up, and then come back and see what happens next year with a better roster that they can fit more. I don't want to say more better because that's just retarded, but they can fit better around the pieces they have, the core that they want to build around, instead of, having guys like Kevin Seraphin, Lance Thomas, Almanson, Vujacic, like even Calderon. Like I fully expect him to be cut. So that way they can throw more money at free agency. I don't believe he's the guy. I think a lot of these names are just, spot fillers. They needed people for a roster to fill it out. They can really look this offseason to try to build around with an idea, with an identity going forward.
Well, and I mean, here's the question I'm going to have for you with Rajon Rondo, because Phil has come out and said that one of the things this offseason he will not be doing is the team's not going to be obsessed with finding that 5-star point guard, because as Phil says, you don't need it to run the triangle. The one thing I do look at, and I'm only using 1 year for this, but the beginning of the last three-peat run for the Bulls.
Yeah.
So 95-96, here were their point guards. Steve Kerr, which, let's be honest, we remember him as put him in the corner, 3-point shot, tie the game, win the game. Steve was money from 3.
He was clutch, yeah.
Ron Harper, who, he started at point guard, but you wouldn't put Ron Harper in that top point guard discussion of all time.
No, you wouldn't.
He was just quality for the Michael, for the Scotty, for the
On
Dennis.
other teams, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was also good on the Lakers.
Yeah, he played quite well in his career.
When Phil Jackson was there. But
Yep.
I mean, is that something that, would you count Rajon in that group, or Rajon's not necessarily a top-tier point guard and can fit that model?
I think he's a totally different point guard than those guys because he doesn't have that 3-point shot. He is an aggressive attacker in the lane. He causes issues, and he causes open shots for the rest of his team by him making those cuts in the lane. People pull down, and that creates the ability to kick out. And Rondo does the one thing that is invaluable, which is just his scrappy defense. Think about the East and all the point guards between Lowry, John Wall, Derrick Rose, and Kyrie. There's 4 other point guards out there who, if you have a lockdown, I don't know if lockdown's the right word for him, but scrappy is what I keep going to with Rondo, because he's infuriating. I will like the memory of that
Kinda
Celtics
like me,
Bulls
he's
series.
infuriating.
Yeah. The memory of that Celtics Bulls series from almost a decade ago is still just plastered in my mind of how fucking annoying he is.
You bring that up, and my immediately first image is him and Rose on the floor
Just
fighting
dueling.
for the ball.
Yep.
Yeah. Or Rose shooting a 3 and Rondo just getting a fingertip on
that contest, and that's what you need. And I think that is so much more valuable than that 3-point shot, which at this point the league is going nuts, and like, we need to find these 3-point shooters. They're like, scoping them out, looking for everybody who has the ability
because everyone wants to model the Golden State model.
Exactly. So I think that if you go out and get a Rondo, you have possibly an answer to that. You have something you can fight that with, and you've got 2 bigs down low who can absolutely crash the boards and win out. So I think the Knicks could build differently and have have more success going that route than trying to clone a team like Golden State, where you need so much talent around them that they just don't have. They don't have all those picks. They can't go ahead and reload with, 3 guys on the outside who are all 3-point shooters with, Harrison Barnes, Clay, and Curry. And they don't have a Draymond Green. Yeah. Like, there's so many things that team does well.
Porzingis he's not an exact Draymond cut, but they have the position of
they do different
the big
things.
Guy down low. Yeah.
They do different things.
But I'm just saying, like, you've got your power forward figured out for the triangle.
Yeah.
Like, Porzingis is your pick.
And you have Carmelo.
It was great. And Melo at the 3. But the thing I feel like that the Knicks are going to do, and will I agree with it, I think they should get a Mike Conley or a Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, Conley, another guy who underrated because I don't want to say underperforms, but he's just that one echelon below an all-star. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to put Rajon. I would take Rajon over Conley. And there's only one stat I'm looking at for that reasoning. And disagree with me, agree with me. It's the assist numbers. Conley this year, 6.1, where Rajon is having almost 12 assists a game.
He's playing crazy this year.
The last time he had double-digit assists, his last year in Boston.
Yeah.
Which was the beginning of last year, if you forgot, because he got traded to Dallas.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in Boston, from 2010 to 13, he averaged 11 a game. A 9.5 that 1 year that was off. I mean, Rajon's a guy where all I need you to do is pass the ball for the triangle. He has such
great vision.
And that's what you need for the triangle. And he's not going to be a guy that you have to pay a ton of money. Mike Conley won't be that guy either.
I think Mike Conley will get bank. I honestly do. I think teams will value him highly because of A, age, and B, the fact that he has the better shot. I think he's a better shooter between him and Rondo. Rondo's shot has always been conspicuous at best. So I think teams will value that a little bit higher. And plus, Memphis may just, dump a load of cash to keep him.
Here's what I see the Knicks doing, and it's going to be totally different than what I think they should do because Phil Jackson and NBA teams don't listen to Ricky Widmer, which, let's be honest, in most cases they shouldn't because I'm not a basketball mind. I haven't been in the game as long as Phil Jackson has. But,
well, I mean, when you compare yourself to Phil,
well, yeah, I'm
you
no
and him
Phil
right
Jackson.
next to each other. You're like just right there.
There's a lot of room apart, but I think you go with a Rajon. However, I could see them going, okay, Brandon Jennings, no, off the list completely because, like I said, don't need that 5-star point guard. They'll go and get a guy like Mario Chalmers. Like
coming off an injury, they'll go for the value.
But I could see Phil going, you know what? We don't need the 5-star. We don't need a Rondo. We don't need Conley. They want too much. I'll go and give this much money to Chalmers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk since he will be coming off of an injury. He just went in. He was just released after that was officialized. But I think Mario Chalmers has proven he is not an awful point guard. He's an average point guard. He did it in Miami. Will it carry over? Meh.
Or if he hits the market, do they get your boy from Philly, Ish Smith? Do they get Ish? He's
I don't think
6.6 assists per game.
I think this is another case of the 76ers inflating stats. Ish is phenomenal to watch. He's trailed off from that like crazy spike he had where he was like, I'm the best point guard in the league. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
And which was awesome to watch. He's talented, but he's a 6-man. He falls more in line with that kind of a role where he can provide that energy, that spark off the bench. I don't see him with the best court vision. I don't see him fitting Phil Jackson's kind of system.
Now, I'm going to throw something out there that is away from the point guards because I'm looking at the overall. Because the big thing with Melo, when he says, I want to be the recruiter, put me at the head of the table, he also went on to say, if we want to get this team better, if we want more pieces, I don't have a choice. I have to go out there and do my job and try to get people to come and for them to see it from my perspective than anyone else's perspective, see it from a player's perspective. And, quote, I'm looking at the overall free agents and the big ones that come to mind that, I mean, LeBron James could be a free agent. I'm going to get to him in a second. But before we get to LeBron, the ones that are probably going to be free agents and not stay with their teams, DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Does Anthony get him?
This is his chance to cash in.
A D Wade. Does D Wade leave Miami? Probably not. A Whiteside, a Harrison Barnes. To me, I feel like the big thing is if you're Melo, go after DeMar DeRozan. But there's a part of me that's like, man, if I'm Carmelo, I hope that the Cavaliers continue their struggle and I can plant the seed in LeBron. Like, come on, LeBron. Porzingis is doing well. You know me. I'm a great player.
There's no way.
I'm way better than that Kyrie and that Love guy.
No, there is zero chance LeBron leaves for New York.
LeBron's upset. Goes to Miami, works out with D Wade, has a nice time. Like, man,
are we talking D Wade plus Carmelo plus LeBron in New York?
I don't know.
Is that where you're
No, I didn't,
conspiring?
I wasn't even going to add. I was just going to say LeBron alone. But if you want to add D Wade to the conspiracy, let's put that in there. That
I
would
think
be
you're fucking crazy.
That'd be reuniting the draft class. I was just saying LeBron alone. I think Wade stays in Miami. He's going to retire.
Old man Wade. Yeah.
There's no way he's going to go anywhere else. But the thing with LeBron is if he's really like upset about being in Cleveland and not having the support that he had in Miami, if I'm Carmelo, I'm going, let me feed off of that. Let me try to get the seed planted in LeBron's head, try to bring him to New York. So he opts out and plays in the triangle.
I mean, it's a lovely dream you have. No one's going to argue with that.
Basically, all you have to do is you want to be Michael Jordan, you can play in the triangle. You can be Jordan. You can take the Jordan part of the triangle.
You win in New York. If you win a single championship in New York, you will be a god.
Yeah. I think it would be better.
But Carmelo doesn't want that. Because A,
he wants to be the number one.
Well, yeah, he wants to be the one on the team. And B is money. Like, it's just not there for him. So, crazy theory.
Or does Melo rework out his contract?
Hell no. Melo's greedy as shit. He took money over wins once already in his career.
So
he's not going to do it again.
So we're really looking at DeMar DeRozan opting out of Toronto and maybe moving on.
I think DeMar would go for a max contract, which they can't provide. So I don't even think they're in the realm of DeMar DeRozan.
Because I'm looking. Here's the other free agents that we could see.
Whiteside would be interesting, but you already have exactly.
Yeah. But the other free agents, like Andre Drummond, he's restricted, so I'm not going to bring up. Paul will be a free agent, but he's a big.
They're not going to double up on Paul.
Horford's a big. I mean, Bradley Beal is going to be there, but he's a restricted. See, the thing is, the weird thing for me is the restricted free agents.
I don't know if Washington would keep Bradley Beal. He's underperformed quite a bit this year.
But then with the restricted free agent, that's a whole different.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they would go after him.
Unrestricted. I mean, right now I'm looking. Harrison Barnes is technically restricted
unless the crazy trade goes down for KD, where they're like, and by trade I mean pick up during, but
But I'm also looking are you going to get a Ryan Anderson, Joakim Noah? They wouldn't go for him. There's no one in this draft class that is as big as
they need guards. Period.
Well, then DeMar DeRozan's your guy, and he's your.
But they can't pay for him.
He's your boomer bust kind of guy.
That's why they need to go get themselves a point. That's why the entire time I'm strongly pushing for Conley or Rondo.
Yeah,
preferably Rondo. But yeah, this is team. They're stuck with Robin Lopez. I think he's an underperforming sack of shit. I hate the man. He's the worst brother. But no, they're stuck with him until 2019. So that's the problem. Aaron Aflalo and Derek Williams could screw them and choose the player option to stick around. Hopefully they don't.
They can also
Aflalo's actually not awful.
They could also waive Calderon, right?
They could waive Calderon after July 1st and save themselves $5 million. I think Aflalo's not the worst option in the world at shin guard. So, Williams should probably go, though.
And I'm looking at the shooting guards, and I mean, when we go down, Jamal Crawford.
He could old as fuck.
But he could be cheap. They also have Eric Gordon. Do they make a push at Eric Gordon?
Eric Gordon could be interesting.
Do they make a push at Lance Stevenson?
He's showing some value.
The Grizzlies don't pick up his team option.
Yeah.
There are some options to get some cheap players, but let's be honest.
Stevenson has so much upside that I hate it because I always am like, well, we could get value out of this. Like, I feel like Phil could see that and be like, I could make him work for me. But
you got to shut that mouth.
You got to shut the mouth.